All right, guys, let's do this one last time. Review for test 31. Number 1 says find the vertices and foci of the ellipse. What you got to do first there, obviously we want that side, that 64 side to be 1. So I'm going to have it all 3 terms by 64. 16 goes into 64 4 times. 4 goes into it 16 times. That's convenient. 64 divided by 64 is 1. All right, because the center is 0, 0, it's not what it asked me for. The vertices are on the major axis, the ends of the major axis, which is the bigger number in this case with ellipses. So because that's 16, I would go up 4 and down 4. So my vertices are 0 plus or minus 4. To find the foci, I'm going to do a squared minus b squared, which is 16 minus 4, which gives me 12. Take the square root of 12, you get plus or minus 213. And again, the foci go on the major axis, which is the y, just like the vertices did. And that's all you got right there. Number 2, going backwards, find an equation of the ellipse that has those vertices and those foci. Okay, so I know it's going to be x squared over something plus y squared over something is 1. And the reason I know that the center is 0, 0 is because that's halfway between those two. All right, so because I went 6 and negative 6 on the y, if you square that, you get 36. So 36 goes under there. The foci, that's the c. Remember, c squared is a squared minus b squared. So if I do c squared, which is 16, is a squared minus b squared. I got to ask myself, what would I subtract from 36 to get 16? I would get 20, and there's the answer to that one. Number 3, this time we're moving the ellipse around a little bit. So the center of the ellipse is the opposite of what's in the parentheses. So my center is going to be negative 3, 5. My foci, remember, on the major axis. The major is the y again because it's bigger, so that's all 3 times. That's kind of weird. Okay, so I'm going to go 6 away. I'm going to go 6 to up and 6 down from the center. So if I drew that, my center would be negative 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go 6 down from there, which put me right there. That point right there would be negative 3, negative 1, going down 6. Sorry, that's not my foci, that's my vertices. I went the wrong letter. Sorry about that. And my other vertex would be 6 up from there. So if I go up 6 from 5, that puts me at 11. So I'm at negative 3, 11. Foci, again, I'm going to do c squared is a squared minus b squared. 36 minus 25 is 11. Take the square root is plus or minus square root of 11. Again, that goes on the major, so you add it to the major part of your center. The major part of the center is 5, so I'm going to go negative 3, 5 plus or minus square root of 11. And there you have it. Number 4, going to hyperbolas now. Notice there's no parentheses or anything, so the center is going to be at 0, 0. Divide everything by 16. I got x squared over 16 minus y squared over 4, because 4 goes into 16 4 times, equals 1. Now, with a hyperbola, the major axis is the one that comes first. Okay, so the major axis is the x, which means, well, first of all, my center is 0, 0 because there's no parentheses. My vertices are going to be plus or minus 4, 0 because that's the square root of 16. The foci, I'm going to do c squared equals a squared plus b squared this time. So 16 plus 4, which is 20. Take the square root of 20, you get 2 on 5. It's really 4 times 5. And again, my foci go on my major axis, which is the x because it's first. I'm going to plus or minus 2 on 5 and 0. And all I want is the slopes of the asymptotes. And the slopes of the asymptote, you take the square root of what's under the y, which is 2. The square root of what's under the x, which is 4. Reduce that if you can, 1/2. Now, I did all that without graphing it, which I probably should have graphed it. I'll do that really quickly. Center is 0, 0. Vertex 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. There's a 2 underneath the y. Go up 2, down 2. Draw your box, remember. That's not a very good box. Connect the corners for your asymptotes. And because x comes first, it's going to open this way. All right, let's keep going. Found an equation of hyperbola with those vertices and those foci. So really 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 are the same kind of questions, just different shape. So first of all, the vertices are on the y-axis, and the center is 0, 0 because 0, 0 is halfway between those two. So because it's a 3, I'm going to put a 9 under my y. I'm not sure what's going to go under my x. Is 1. And the reason the y went first is because it's the major axis, because that's where the vertices are. So foci, that's my c. And because it's a hyperbola, c squared is a squared plus b squared. I know a squared is 9 plus b squared. I know c squared is 25 because that c right there is 5, so 25. So I got to figure out what would I add the 9 to get to 25? And the answer is 16, and that's all you got to do on that one. Those are quicker when you're just trying to find the equation. Okay, now number 6, they're shifting it around a little bit. So the center is the opposite of what's inside your parentheses. So the center is 5, negative 2. That's the first answer. So I'm going to go to 5, negative 2. There's the center. And because x is first, it's the major, I'm going to go right 4 from there, left 4 from there. And because there's a 9 underneath the y, I'm going to go up 3, down 3 from there to draw my box. Okay, there's the box. I'm not doing a rush job on these things. Sorry about that. So there's that. And there's that. My vertices are right here and here, which means I went 4 away from the 5. If I go 4 to the right of the 5, I'm at 9. If I go 4 to the left of the 5, I'm at 1. To find the foci, again, c squared is a squared plus b squared. 16 plus 9 is 25. Square 25 is plus or minus 5. That worked out great. That's also on the major. So I'm going to add 5 to the center, which is going to put me at 10, negative 2. Notice my x is the only thing that's changing. I'm going to subtract 5 from the center, which puts me at 0, negative 2. If you look at the y coordinate and all those answers, it never did change. And then the slope. Slope of the asymptote, remember, square root of what's under the y, which is 3, over square root of what's under the x, which is 4. And there's all the answers. All right, now to the review, which is big, important because we're getting closer and closer to like a semester exam. So the review questions are really important now. I'm going to 1 log, I'm doing that base to that power equals that. So I'm going to say 4 plus 2x equals 3 to the third power. 3 to the third power is 27. If I move that 4 over, 27 minus 4 is 23. Divide by 2, 23 over 2. That's all you got to do there. Number 8, this is our ref. All right, so we're going to punch all this in to the matrix. Remember, go to second quit, go back to the matrix again, go to math, scroll up, to where it says RF, pick matrix A, and see what the answer is. And it is, as I punch that in, I'm getting negative 1 for the x, 2 for the y, and negative 2 for the z. That's all you got to do. All right, and number 9. But describe the end behavior. So you're looking for degree here. Our degree is the biggest exponent. The biggest exponent is 12, which is even. So that means either both ends are going up or both ends are going down. Because there's a negative in the front, both ends are going down. So we're just going to draw a little fake graph there and say both ends are going down. Just like that. All right, number 10. Number 10 is already kind of factored for you. You got to draw a little sine graph here. Put whatever makes the numerator 0 on the number line, which is 5 times 0 is 0. And also what makes the denominator 0, which is negative 1. And you know what number I'm going to plug in? I'm plugging in 100. So 5 times 100 is 500. 100 plus 1 is 101. I don't care what that value is. It's positive, which means everything over there is positive. That's minus, that's plus. I'm looking for greater than 0, which is positive. So I'm looking for my plus signs. 1 plus signs between negative infinity and negative 1. With a bracket, nope. Need a parentheses because that would make the bottom 0. That was my fault right there. Need a parentheses there. Come on now. There we go. Union, and then everything from 0 to infinity, and I messed it up again. That 0 should have a bracket. They have brackets because there's an equal sign there. The reason I did not put a bracket around the negative 1 is because that would make the denominator 0, which you cannot have, and you know that. All right, simplify. 2 minus 7i squared. This is square multiply double square. So I'm going to square the 2, multiply these two together, which is negative 14, double it, negative 28i, and it's squared and negative 7i. If you square negative 7, it's positive 49i squared. But I squared really makes that negative 49. I'm going to combine that with my 4 in the front. 4 minus 49 is negative 45 minus 28i. And there you go. Number 12. Because that 4 is bigger than 1, it's exponential growth. We're going to have an asymptote on the x-axis because there's no shift at all. First point's always 1 above, remember, because anything to the 0 power is 1. I'm going to go 1 to the right, put in 1 right there. 4 to the first power is 4. And what we discovered when we do this is if you go 1 to the right of our first point every time, whatever that value is, that's how far you go up from the asymptote. Okay, there's 12. 13, if 4 is a 0, find the other zeros. Now, because this is x cubed, there's going to be 3 zeros. So 4 is one of them, so I'm going to put 4 in the box, and I better get a 0 when I work this out. So I'm bringing the 1 down, 1 times 4 is 4, add them up, multiply, add, sure enough, I got a 0. That leaves me x squared minus 2x plus 5 is 0. You got to solve that. You can either go x equals negative b plus or minus squared, or you can complete the square, which is what I'm going to do because the middle number is even. If that wasn't even, I would definitely be singing the song, but because it's even, I'm moving the 5 over. We've done this a lot now. Half the middle, square, add to both sides. Half of negative 2 is negative 1, square it, which is positive 1, add it to both sides. On the left-hand side, I can now factor like this. On the right-hand side, that's negative 4. Let's take the square root of each side, get x minus 1 over here, get plus or minus 2i because it was a negative 4. Move that 1 over, 1 plus or minus 2i. Don't forget the other 0 was 4 that they told us at the beginning. Last slide, finally, of the year. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so 2 bars, 2 answers. 2 bars, 2 answers. So moving the 5 over first. You must isolate the absolute value before you solve it. So that's saying what 2 numbers have absolute value of 3? Well, 3 does, and so does negative 3. So I'm going to solve both of those. Move that 2 over, that gives me 5. Move that 2 over, gives me negative 1. There's my 2 solutions there. Number 15 also has 2 bars, so I'm thinking 2 bars, 2 answers. Now, this has a greater than symbol, which means it's greater than. So I'm gonna take out, the absolute value is already isolated. I can go ahead and take it away, but you need to use the word or when you do that. So less than negative 10, just like that. So let's move the 3 over. That gives me 7. Divide by negative 4, I get negative 7/4. Or move the 3 over on this side, gives me negative 13. Divided by negative 4, don't forget to flip that sign, which I did on the first one. Whew, that would have been a rule 5 if you'd have caught that. So I forgot to flip that sign. Divided by negative. Whoa, that was close. So my 2 answers are everything less than negative 7/4 or everything greater than 13/4. And there you have it. All right, guys. Man, I hope these videos have helped you. Get ready for this last test tomorrow. Study, study, study. And man, let's do great. See you then.